Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. We ate cake and sang some happy birthday. She was a little sleepy though, so she woke up a little moody, but she gonna be all right. I should be going to bed, but I'm not sleepy just yet. Hey, Juicy. Hey, y'all found the other channel? Uh-oh. I tried to come in on the other channel. Um, I just got something to say because ooh, I was listening to while I'm down here because I had some paper to fill out online before I go to bed, and it has to be done before midnight. So I got that done. So I was like, oh, my phone about to die too, but I wonder if I have a charger. Do I have a charger down here? Let's see. I find a charger. I never bring a damn charger downstairs. I know it's one here somewhere amongst these damn wires. It's got to be one. Wait a minute, y'all. I thought about that thing. I wonder if this will charge. Oh, yeah, they gave me a little charge. Yeah, I'm just back for a little bit, just for a minute. I'm getting sleepy here. So, hold on. Let me pause this now. Ooh, I understand the whole distraughtness with the Don Russell situation, right? I understand it clear as day. I understand but baby, when you take it past a 10, I don't even have high blood pressure. So I don't know what it feels like. But when you take it above and beyond to do damage control, something ain't right. Okay? Something is not right. And I'm not knocking nobody about their opinions or whatever about Don Russell, calling him the con man or this or that, right? And coming to an understanding that it's difficult for people to digress some things when you have a person come out and you assume that a person is for, a specific person, and then come out to say some things that just didn't sit well with the public. I understand all of that, right? Mm. But then I sit back and I ask, but what about all of the other people? What about who really kind of started the bad swaying towards R. Kelly? What about that person? What makes people think that that person still, it's not well, maybe they still think that this person is a bad person, but what about the main person, like who you would have really expected, like to have R. Kelly back, but that person actually started the whole social media um, negative drop on R. Kelly. In my opinion, I'm just gonna try to be quick, y'all, till I get a little tired. But this is just a little chit chat. In my opinion, and from all the, when I go back and I look at a whole lot of other stuff, the person that did the person that opened up negative information about R. Kelly, in my opinion, like to me, it was his brother. To me, to Carrie Kelly, that brother had did a lot. That brother even came back with a diss track. I don't know. I guess maybe he gets a pass because that's his blood brother. But even being R. Kelly's blood brother, I remember when R. Kelly in the song, he says, your brothers don't turn on your brother, no matter what. So then I was asking myself, I wonder who all have actually talked to R. Kelly, even though we know that there may be some forgiveness in that era, right? Because they're brothers. But as I look at the community out here, and yeah, we saw, Carrie come out to New York and all this stuff, right? And maybe he has settled down and ain't said, much of nothing anymore. But I always ask myself, like, out of all people, who did the worst? Like the worst. Go back and you watch all those videos with him on the news, him talking about how, R. Kelly's attorney from the previous trial painted him inside the paperwork as being the person, on the tape, talking about how, they tried to offer him some money to say that it was him. He said he wasn't going down like that, that was the lie. Talked about how he only got $250 a week, and other people that was working for him at the concerts and stuff will be getting way much more money than that. Envy, jealousy. Talked about a whole lot of stuff. He talked about the ages of molestation. He talked about the grave, tomb, stone. Don't put no money up on the tombstone. Talked about a whole lot of stuff. Opened up a whole lot of stuff on their family. He talked about Aaliyah. He talked about Barry Hankerson. He talked about a lot, like a lot, way more. He opened the gate and the doors on social media way more than Donnell Russell. However, Donnell Russell did come out and say that, he was going to rock and he was going to roll and do all of this stuff. And as I look into the community, I look at everybody that has the yays and the nays, R. Kelly didn't say that, or R. Kelly didn't do this, and or he didn't tell him that, or he didn't work for this. And I'm talking about like in general now with quite a few people that has had brought the commentary, right? And then they'll throw these names at you. And then the community in the box, they'll be like, "Sure didn't," or "I believe it," or "I agree." And I'll be sitting over here like, I'm trying, was there ever, I ain't seen a video yet with Mr. Kelly coming out telling anybody about this person, that person, this person, or that person. Not one time. I think that R. Kelly had an opportunity to say some things when he did those phone calls, but I believe that was so far off of his mind to even think about that, because what's near on his mind is getting out of jail, right? So to me, it's like, well, you know what? I'll deal with a lot of these people who I did X, Y, and Z towards me when I'm done with the priority of my case. But right now, I'll leave it to the community with the nays and the yays. It's kind of weird to me. I don't know about y'all, listening to people talk as if they were really traveling shoulder to shoulder at all times with R. Kelly, right? And then to say that they know that that's not true, but they know that this is true. Well, I know it's not him. But then they make one main culprit the victim of the stuff. And that's highly impossible to do, like when you're not there. But they can pick up the phone, call certain people. Mind you that they call people that you don't even know. Just because they call a name, you don't even know. So now you don't know this person's background, and this person is on the speakerphone while the other person asks him all the questions. And I'm looking inside the box, and for some miraculous reason, the box of people believe what the telephone person said. They don't even know him. You can't see them. You can't do none of that shit, right? You can't, because they all give you, I call them skip-the words. One word of this, one word of that, and the rest of it, because it sounds good, you are left to believe what they say, right? Like, oh, that sounds good, sounds about right. Or it's because a person tells you that they have a certain attachment. I told you I could pick up the phone that calls X, Y, and Z. You not even knowing if X, Y, and Z is actually a good guy or a bad guy. All you know is that the story and the answers to the question kind of parallel. And as long as it's traveling parallel, it's like, that's good. People in the box, I've been looking like, wow, you could tell, like you can really sell a pen with an eraser on it and call it a pencil, and they're gonna be okay. Yep, that's a pencil. Well, damn well, it's a pen, but he told you it was a pencil, so you're okay with it being a pencil. Unbelievable, right? So I gotta ask y'all this, right? Because now another speculation story has been created. Not that it has not been created, but it's building. The creation is building. I don't want to get too far and deep into this though, but this boy sat over there and he says that the leaking of the information came from Don Russell and Arline and DJ Tyson. I think he has said that once before, not too long ago. At the same time, he can't show you what information been leaked. He can't give you no time and no date on what was being leaked, and none of that. He just says the information was being leaked. Now, mind you, he went back to check the video on Chokes No Jokes channel. And No Chokes No Joke is the interview with Don Russell and Choke No Joke. And Don Russell was telling you how certain information was getting leaked, right? And Don Russell said that it was one of Robert Kelly's blood cousins. He said that he didn't have no idea, but he know that the blood cousin was there at every meeting called, I guess, you know. Now notice that the guy over there, Bookham boy, he addressed nothing about the blood cousin. Not at all. He can easily pick up that phone, very easily, to get anybody that he wants from R. Kelly's camp, I guess, people he know on the phone to verify that. And he didn't get the blood cousin to debunk that. He ended up getting some other guy that says that he don't know Don Russell like that, but he continued on with another question. And the guy clearly says, well, I can't comment on that because I don't know if it's true or if it's not true. But he's very persistent. Now he goes into his chuckle because what he was really looking for didn't fall through. If Don Russell made a statement about the person that was leaking particular information when they would go in to meet with R. Kelly on certain things, why not reach out to the blood cousin and get him on the phone? Is it that hard to do? Can it not be done? I'm just asking. Can it not be done? Because that's where you will get the real answer. Most of the time, it has to come through the horse's mouth. Now, it would have been great had he been able to get the blood cousin on the phone. Don Russell specifically told him, or the community, or the people in the box who was doing the leaking. But nobody is reaching out to get the cousin to say that's a damn lie. Go figure that. No, he got another person that's supposed to be aware of some situation like this. Now, mind you, 2 people stood trial with R. Kelly. The June Brown guy and Durham McDade. For some apparent reason, they had very similar charges. Some apparent reason, I guess they came in with better attorneys that stuck to whatever objective program that they had, and they got to go home. R. Kelly did not go home. I can't understand like how that boy over there don't find that to be a problem, because I do. I definitely do. I do. What's going on, Queen? Yeah. So that was one thing that it just blew me away. Don Russell said a lot of things, but yet then the big guy who knows everybody don't bring the people that was brought to light on the channels. Except for one. Talks very highly of that one. And I'm not going to say his name right now, but eventually I am, and it's going to come. Yeah. So here's another thing that got me, blow me away. He says that, oh no, that was the same thing when he says that, but Don Russell says that it was a cousin at the meetings and everything that kept telling stuff outside the meetings to someone else. So he says that he could not figure out how this information kept getting out. Like, people know about all this business talking and different programs that we're trying, just stuff that we're trying to do. This is what's going on. It's crazy. But now, mind you, that this is just my opinion and how I feel about this whole dialogue about this whole Don Russell stuff, this whole, this week, right? I see there's a part 2 dropping on the 24th. R. Kelly was out on the line, on the hotline, once or twice or whatever, maybe 3 times with what's her name over there, Natasha. And you know that if someone has really hurt you and has done something that you did not like, and he was talking about the BOPAs. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that for a second because he mentioned that too. What the hell did I write that down at? Oh, right here. My bad. Right. And Mr. Kelly kept saying, and I guess he had to say it that way because right now, being limited, I guess, to as he wait for his appeal, so he doesn't want to do anything to be harmful to his case, right? Or even give these people any prejudice or precedence over saying that this is what his attempt was to do or whatever. So he's kind of limited to his words. However, Don Russell was such, and this is just my opinion, this person that, everybody was like, oh, and all, and, and fuck them. And if you want a bandwagon of them, then, well, fuck you too, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, though. Did you hear from R. Kelly? Yeah. Did anybody hear from R. Kelly? R. Kelly telling you that, yeah, I don't mess with him anymore. I don't fool with him now. Mind you, a lot of people came out to say that he don't mess with Booker, but nobody's coming out to say that R. Kelly don't mess with Don Russell. I ain't heard it yet from absolutely nobody. I haven't heard it yet. They said that stuff about Don Russell don't mess with Sylvia. Not Don Russell. R. Kelly don't mess with Sylvia. R. Kelly don't mess with Bookham. R. Kelly don't mess with this person. I ain't heard nobody say R. Kelly don't mess with Don Russell out. Like, that's double standard, man. That's being double standard. Where's that message at? Where's that message at? Let alone when R. Kelly did speak out, he spoke out. And the question was not aroused to him, mentioned, or anything about that. We don't know as the community if it is true or not. If Don Russell sat down with R. Kelly on a business proposal, we don't know. What I do know is that I heard the box, meaning the community, screaming that Mr. Kelly had no money. He has no ways to make money. They shut him down. They blocked him from every avenue. But you have a guy that comes in, says that he's 10 toes down. He's rocking. He did this because, he looked at him as a friend, and he felt that him standing alone, that the world was caving in on R. Kelly, to sum it up, right? To simplify it, right? So the people, we believed all of that, right? Hey, okay, yay. He's got one person that has actually spoken out. However, you ain't heard nobody else come out here, I believe, other than his other brother, with the interview of Lifetime filming him in the jail, which was Bruce, saying that he wanted to get into it. He's gonna find out what's going on, and said some great things about Mr. Kelly, that, he doesn't, is this type of person that the government is making him out to be. But he also made the inclination about, my brother likes all women, but when I listen to this boy here, I don't know what it is. I do not know. I know it's not hatred because I don't know him. I know it, like when he opens his mouth to speak on this situation as the Mr. Know-It-All, it's just, I don't know, it's like sickening to me, especially when you try to go above and beyond of making this huge speculation, right? But I think that Mr. Kelly knows Don Russell, according to where that picture was, with him walking outside of the jail, and Mr. Kelly's hand is laying directly on Don Russell for some guidance from the entourage of people that were out there. There was something there. Other than that, I guess, did Mr. Kelly just say, well, oh, well, he's just walking me to my truck. Well, it's okay. There was something there, people. There was definitely some type of connection there, in my opinion, with Don Russell and R. Kelly. It was there. Not only that, he is traveling behind Mr. Kelly as he leaves the jail as part of security. He also shows up in the parking lot of McDonald's with a group of people. A whole group of people was out there, right? From us being the people in the box, we all of a sudden decide to say, because after an interview, a whole bunch of names, you this, you that, and F you, and blah, blah, blah. But none of that attention is directed towards all of the other people that was in the McDonald's parking lot, or was traveling behind R. Kelly, or was there helping him get secured to get to the Sprinter after his first bonding, I think his first bond, up out of jail. Nobody has nothing to say about none of those people. So being the people inside of the box, who are we to know who exactly has done what to R. Kelly? And I get it. It's always the person that comes to speak out, to give information, or rather to retract some information. If you said it good, and I agree with you guys on that, I think that you should just keep rolling good. I do. Seems like the normality thing to do. But as being humans, we seem to all have forgotten that life can take a turn on you in a matter of a second. And the matter of a second ended up being 18 months in jail, and the clock ticked down. Now it's closer to going on the inside. And as much as we see most of our men as big, strong men, voiceful men, want to be involved in some things to have a greater outcome on it, it takes nothing to tear down all of that ego and bring you back to reality, and then start dancing to a different beat. Is it a normal thing to do? I don't know. But it does come off somewhat, natural, because I've seen it done amongst a whole lot of people. They gonna rock and roll. But baby, when that time tick down and it's time to go, yeah, you'll dance a whole different beat for various of reasons that'll kick in, right? Like shit, right? So as I'm listening to him, all I hear is a long stretched out speculations about a lot of things, because everything that he says, he actually really don't have the evidence to really back it up. What I mean by that is, if Don is saying one thing, then bring the goddamn receipts and the accuracies. If he's talking about a cousin that may have done some things, you challenge him by getting a cousin that he speak about. So maybe he don't know which cousin it is. I don't know. I mean, a blood relative, I guess, because that's all. I don't know if it's a cousin or whatever. So let me retract that and say a blood relative, right? But for some apparent reason, he sits over there and know the truth about every goddamn thing. That's crazy. He says that he's like a tap team. He has a tap team around him, right? But if he has a tap team around him and a person says that they rock 10 toes deep and you've been around this person since 1996 and you love this person this so much, then there has to be clearly an explanation of how did this whole circus of individuals ended up around the person that you love so much. How did this happen? No one could possibly say that you love a person so much, and I've been around him since 1996 and I rock 10 toes deep and I'm about to die for this man, to clearly at the where R. Kelly now is at a point to having allegations of allegations of allegations of allegations on top of him. There's no way you could have possibly been. So that tells me, if I'm using my psychological analytical view on this thing, you either didn't care as much and sat there and watched all of the people that was there that shouldn't have been there, because it was a lot of laughter or giggling and, you know, or the giggling and the wiggling around it. That doesn't make sense to me. If anything, today, and you go 10 toes deep and you finna die for a person, it should not even be an allegation out here on Mr. Kelly, because you had him well protected. You set him down and made him understand who was around him or why they was around him, because you'd had that trust just that tight. So something don't sit right with that at all. But that's just my opinion. So he says that he switched up Don Russell's story about the people that allegedly he had became aware of that was leaking a lot of information out, to it being that Don Russell has the tap team around him, and his allegations and speculations, as he stated, was because Don Russell is preparing to put more people in jail. What people? What people would he be planning on to put in jail? Who? I say June Brown. His case that's over with. David, his case is over with. Who is he talking about? Is he talking about allegedly what? Barry Hankerson? Who could Don Russell be talking about? I'm just asking for a friend. Who is left for him to put more people in jail? And if he was planning on putting more people in jail, then wouldn't that lean toward him helping R. Kelly? If he's going to crack the code and put more people in jail, or is he going to put more people in jail that this boy is stating that was speaking out on him? Like, which way is it? That's a confusing speculation there. It's a very confusing and deflecting one at its finest, in my opinion. He says that Don Russell has a tap team around him, and all these people that is around him and on this tap team, that what they're doing is planning on putting more people in jail. Can y'all figure that one out? Because I can't. Who's left to go? He also came out to say that Don Russell did the interview with Tasha K. So did Carrie. Didn't Carrie do an interview? Let's put both of their interviews up and do the comparison. As a matter of fact, let's put Carrie interviews up from way back then with the mink on and all of that stuff. Did he find out if it was true on the theft that Don Russell said? Where did he go get that truth? He didn't get the truth. He came out with, in my opinion, some more speculations. We do know that there is some truth that Carrie did stay with the Don Russell. I believe that Bruce's story was about when he got to the house, you know, he wasn't aware. But of who I guess people were or whatever, and they got him a place to parole. And I think Don's story came back with saying that, he was out of town or something and he came back to visit. Then, Bruce was already there. And then he had to, I guess, ask him to leave the home at one point or whatever. And as one of the brothers left the home, some things had got stolen behind that. Yeah. He also said that with the property or whatever that he had retrieved, he told everybody that he had done that, and Keith knew, whoever this Keith guy is, knew he had some of the intellectual property. I've been hearing something about that. This Keith is a whole power of attorney. Not once have anybody got Keith out here to say, it's okay, y'all, everything is being taken care of. Might want to ask yourself, yeah, why not? Why haven't he done so? I was laughing at the fact that with this Keith guy, this R. Kelly's power of attorney, nobody's talking about how the hell he went from a what you call that? What exactly was that? What was that? A Ford Taurus to a Mercedes. Was it R. Kelly money or was it somebody else's money? Or was he already rich and established at that point to be able to go from driving a Ford Taurus into a Mercedes? It's just a question that I had in my head. Wow. What was he driving when Mr. Kelly got locked up? To my understanding, I believe he was out there when they came and got Mr. Kelly, right? Anybody in chat knows how long they kept him up in there during interrogation? Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. Can anybody out here verify whatever and everything that a Keith has actually done for Mr. Kelly? Nope. But you do hear that boy over there at one point of time on one live say, oh no, he talks to Keith. Now I had to question myself about that too, because if this is R. Kelly's power of attorney, then why would he as well be speaking to somebody who can't do a jack shit damn thing for R. Kelly? Doesn't have a job. He didn't back then. He's online fighting over a car, going in and out of courts. What the hell are you talking to him for? He being a power of attorney should be talking to way more, much bigger and powerful people to me. That's just my opinion. That's what I was thinking. And I was like, well, hell, if this is who the power of attorney is, and this is who he's talking and relaying message to, and like instead of just doing it himself so that his word can be bond, standing on his feet, coming verbally from his own mouth. So he holds his own truth. But when you got to pass it on, something ain't right with that picture. Something is definitely not right. It's foul on all levels. And I'll tell you why, because you already know as you pass along some stuff to a third party, the third party ain't going to get it accurate any goddamn way, especially if they have hatred or are envious of the person that you're talking about. The story's going to stretch. The story's going to take some turns somewhere. So what better person to hear from other than, the horse's mouth? That's when it becomes very, somewhat accurate, and then there's only one person that you can actually go into a verbal entanglement with. But now the box out here of community has to hear from a third party and then go back and forth, whether if you believe what the third party is saying, other than saying, no, we got to hear from the horse's mouth. I thought that shit was weird. But he didn't mention anything about that. And quite frankly, a lot of other people think about it, remembers it, But you don't do the comparison on that. But I asked myself, well, is it because Don Russell introduced or whatever his his business intertwined with R. Kelly? I don't know. I think I said that on a previous live before that. If you are into a business and you reach out to ask someone or whatever here and there, I can help you, woo, woo, and I have this business. You broke, we need money. Let's get this money in a different avenue. I'm sorry. I believe that I would want to get paid as well. That's just me, because I'm opening up something for you to refurbish and restart your motor and start making some revenue that this whole organization wouldn't allow him to do. They said no, and they meant that shit, because they took everything that he possibly could have. So right now, we are the community is listening to a briefing stating that they would like for the funds to be reversed because it was prematurely taken without substantial evidence. And the judge just said, yeah, go take it. Call those people up, get the land, get that $20-some thousand away from him as well. But that's okay. The public, you have your outrage about it, but then that's it. But I'm surely the outrage is not balanced out enough. You're right. I think that he was, and I get them mixed up. I got them mixed up from back then, though, yo. I really did. Because see, I remember one guy, he was sitting on a front porch or something, and during the time he introduced a book, and like he wrote a book or some stuff, and then he was telling how him and Mr. Kelly had grown up or whatever, and told the basketball stories and all of that stuff. And that's the only time I believe that I actually heard him speak, and that was on a Dr. Rice show. Yeah, he was on the front porch, and then I believe that I might have messaged him and said, hey, I'd like to read that book, but I never got a response back, because I did not know how to get the book. I didn't know if it was on Amazon or whatever, or if there was any more copies to it, but that's who I'm assuming that this whole Keith guy was, right? Right? I'm just saying. So this is a killer for me tonight too, because that boy sat over there, and all of a sudden, he's figured out who the BOPA is. Mr. Kelly's been asking about who the hell is these BOPAs and who's doing this to me and why were they allowed to do so? This information it could be sensitive, right? Now, mind you, that Jennifer Bonjean had a motion and everything, paper written up on the pacer is down now right now, so it won't let me log in. I was trying to log in because I want to go back and see when that motion, when she tried to ask the courts about, she put the information in about the leakage of the emails from a BOPA officer. But mind you, the name that he sits over there to blurt out today, something of an Alan Stratton. You mean to tell me that the attorney of R. Kelly was not able to obtain this name of this BOPA officer to include it in her write-up? Because it's not in her write-up. We like to interview BOPA officer Alan Stratton. Did y'all read anything of that coming from Jennifer Bonjean, his own attorney, to come to the conclusion that that boy knows it now? He knows the name now. He knows the name by who and by what. He was able to pick up the phone, or he sat down and start crossing out everybody who still works there and everybody who's left, and then he just narrowed it down to that. Had he known this information a couple of weeks ago or whatever, a month or so before R. Kelly came on the Storm Monroe and on the Natasha show to talk about the BOPA officer, had he got this information that he has now over to R. Kelly, then R. Kelly didn't even have a necessity, a reasoning of calling those people. Because he knew already. R. Kelly would have been dogging already. Welcome could have told him. But now he wants to tell everybody after all of the paperwork that Jennifer Bonji put in. And then after R. Kelly comes on the Storm Monroe and Natasha show, and everybody talking about some BOPA officer. But now he know the name. Only him. Miss Kelly don't know the name. Attorney Jennifer Bonjean don't know the name. Ann Donnelly don't know the name. None of the prosecutors know the name. They rather not say. Well, if they rather not say and they didn't put the name out here, what the hell did he come across the name? And it's okay for him to put it out here now. Well, you mean to tell me that Jennifer Bonjean could not write that name up to bring the attention and the awareness to exactly who it was, but he could do it. Okay. Okay, really? But you know how he came across the name? Through Don Russell's interviews. He said he had to go back and retract some stuff, right? So he put it all together. And once he narrowed it down about Don Russell with Arline and DJ and listening to the Tasha K, he just had to do some calculations. And then he came up with Alan Spratt. Now, I have a very, very tough question for Book. Now that you know who it is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Because you just broken open the case. And since Mr. Kelly feels that this was something done to him illegally and all of his rights have been broken, I don't understand why he's still sitting at home with that shit. His ass should be moving like Federal Express, getting a visitation with Mr. Kelly saying, I got it. It was this person. That's what he should be doing. But unfortunately, he had the time to take and put it in a box to the people of the community inside the box that look very goddamn surprised. Whoa, you solved the mystery. But not only did he solve it, he found every damn reason in the book to put it on Don Russell. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up, man. Somewhere, this is like a dream. This has to be a dream. Because nobody in the world should be able to make up hallucinating speculations like this. And that's just my opinion. But that's some straight hallucination. Other than that, what he should have been doing, instead of broadcasting it in the box, why he called 911? This is an emergency. Nigga, you done broke the case. Allegedly saying that it's Alan Spartan. Now, he got a choice. He can actually go and call Tasha K to verify that information. Let's see how that works out for him. But Anyways, I'm just saying, they got this whole big old case around Mr. Kelly. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm just going to mention it briefly, right? Just briefly. Aaliyah's mother's about ready to come out. Aaliyah's mother's about ready to come out. Everybody see the comments, like, why now? What did set a fire to Diana Hampton? She ain't coming about out here to discuss no damn Laguina either. So let me see y'all in the box when she come out asking her, who is this? Is you the mother of Laguna or Guina or Lagana or whatever her name? I bet not see none of y'all in that box. I bet not gonna be over there laughing my butt off. Everybody waiting now, because that's the first question they gonna ask her. They ain't gonna ask her nothing about the R. Kelly and the Leah stuff. The first question that's gonna be popping out is about that goddamn Laguina girl, unless she's coming out to debunk that. I don't know. But I'm gonna say that for last, for when I get ready to go, which will be here shortly, right? And talk about a little bit of the Aaliyah and the R. Kelly just for a second. And I usually don't talk about Aaliyah and R. Kelly, frankly, because it's old. It was said, it was done, it happened years ago. So I'm not really a person to dwell on something that, it's over, that 20 and 30 and 50 years ago stuff, because half of it you can't remember any damn way. You really can't. People will tell you, boy, I remember that like it was yesterday. Well, when they're telling you the story, do you know how easy it is to add the sun, the moon, and the stars in it to make it sound like that was the truth from years ago? Well, I can't tell you a story. No goddamn. Wait a minute. Let me take that back. Because I do have one or two, couple of stories that maybe I can tell. That's actually happened and played out that way. But when I first started hearing about R. Kelly and the whole Aaliyah thing, there had a lot of people in the boxes out here were saying, oh, that was done for publicity. Publicity. So then I started hearing this whole thing about this Illuminati, type of thing, meaning that powerful people that is in control, that sets standards and rules and regulations on people that wants to be involved in this whole industry aspect, right? Whether if it's VIA on in the movies as an actor or an artist as a star, as a singer, So yeah, it's kind of up to you how you take it, but everybody started making this out of a whole Illuminati thing, and people's telling you guys that you don't know what you're looking at, and it's right in front of you, but we don't know. They've made it so complex, right? But when I think about the whole Aaliyah and the R. Kelly thing, I watched several interviews with Aaliyah's brother, where he tells a story about how he's always around and that's his best friend and they know everything that, each other does. And where you see her, you see him, sometimes you'll see her, unless there has to be a particular separation because, he has his thing to do and she has hers. So, I don't have no sweater on and my heat is all the way down. But I asked myself, well, if this was such a bad thing, I asked the same question that a lot of people was asking down here. Why didn't Diana Hampton or Barry Hankerson or what is it, her uncle or whatever, Jumo or whatever, why didn't they not get so upset about the situation if it was so true that they didn't file charges on R. Kelly. To me, at that time, if people were saying that R. Kelly was 99, damn near a billionaire, why wouldn't they have not done that? R. Kelly had plenty of money for them to say, well, we gonna just take you for the most of your money for doing stuff like this. However, there's still that underlying question. Did they take some money or not? Did they put him in a private contract on behalf of saying, well, you know what? We're gonna do this and you got to do this. And we're gonna need several of records or this for that. How do we know it didn't play out like that? Right? I'm just asking for myself, How do we know that it did not play out like that? How do we know that there wasn't a funky deal made? And the funky deal that was made, that it was probably rejected when the first go round. And how do we know that those individual people, allegedly didn't say, well, oh, okay, you don't want to comply, huh? Well, guess what? Next thing we know, there's a whole freaking marriage that done happened out here. Whole freaking marriage. We forgot about the whole fact. I don't know if y'all seen it. There was a video out here where that guy, it was a black guy, and he talked about he knowing about insurance policy and how this man, whoever, Barry Hankerson or whatever, even he tapped out at what, about 90 million or so on a life insurance policy or whatever on Aaliyah. We forgot about that. Well, people didn't forget about it. It just got quiet. Let's put it like that. I need to find that freaking video. Said he knew for a fact. He said he knew 100% fact that there was an insurance policy. He said Barry Hankerson collected on that freaking money, close to something like 90 billion, whatever, on Aaliyah's, life. Now there's a rumor or allegations out here that he was the one that was responsible for putting that bad airplane out there and the door to get known. The crazy thing about that is you never heard Dash or most of the guys coming out here really, really trying to break that code to that. It was like everybody was covering their butt on how that girl plane went down, except for one person. I know y'all had to remember who that was. But that was Mary J. Blige. Oh, she was running it, y'all. She was running it. However, who's to say that she's not, up underneath that program just a little bit as well, to where she only said what her emotions allow her to say, but consciously she kept it in tune because she knew that she would probably have some answers to some questions to put some answers to. All right, we're going to let you go on and cry it on out. We understand you emotional. You lost a good friend. But at the same time, you better watch that limit of what you're going to say. Allegedly, in my opinion, at the same way that everybody is saying how Princeton was caught in this whole contractual entrapment and Michael Jackson and so on and so forth, who's to say that it would have not happened to her had she kept on being emotional and sitting over there running her mouth about how she had that big old hunch of how that played out. But yet then she has money. She's in the industry. But you jump back over here to this black guy he's big old black guy. I think he was on, I don't know if he was on Vlad or what, right? I don't know. It's been a while. He's just running his mouth telling it all. And you know why? he ain't have shit to lose. Only thing that can possibly happen to him is whether if they put a hit on him and you found him chopped all up in a deep freezer. Nobody knowing how it happened. But when he was talking that and spitting that shit, he didn't give a crap. He told the world. That Barry Anchors had life insurance policy, about 90 million. That's what that man said. I don't know that to be true or whatever, but it sure sounded true. I was like, what? Oh no. But let's jump back over here to this whole situation that came out about the marriage certificate. And I can't for the sake of me, can't understand why that wasn't the first parent, the first one. They should have been the first one saying, you know what? Oh, hell no. You did this to our daughter. You did X, Y, Z, da, 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 da. Instead of seeing what we're seeing today, in reality, we should have been seeing Diane Hanson, Liz Dad, Barry Hankerson, and all of them in trial against R. Kelly. That's what we should have been seeing. So since that did not happen, two things played out, in my opinion. It never happened. And they, in my opinion, was extorting him. Make him be quiet. We just want your money. If you get to talking, we coming for more than that. That's just my opinion. So where the fingers actually need to be pointed at, they're not there anymore. But because Don Russell came out as if he was supposed to be this hero, because I, as well, thought that I was looking at least one person that was finna stand for our Kelly. But he had some heartfelt words, allegedly, possibly coming from his wife. I stated that on my last live. You know, when you marry, right? That marriage life overrules how anybody feels about any damn thing. Now, I know it look wrong to a lot of people, but when you marry and that husband or that wife has spoken and start putting ultimatums out on your ass, and you know that this is the person that you wanted to live and grow with for the rest of your life, yeah, the water in the ocean, it'll start shifting that boat. You get confused, don't know what to say. I'm tired, don't want, yeah, all of the above. But it also comes with prioritizing your means. Everybody's saying, you know what? That he should have went on and just stayed married, hush your mouth, go be gone. Some people can't take what the conscious is doing to your body. You can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't function. Everything go to hell. Some people deals with things so differently. We release them, we hide them, we fight them out. We go kill somebody over it, you name it. But that's where my opinion pretty much lies and lays. But that's not what Bookham Fight stays at, on the top. You can't break chains piece by piece the way that a lot of people are doing it out here. You literally have to tear down the main force. You have to. I'll tell you guys what I think and what my opinion is when I said you have to tear down the main force. When you tear down the main force, there's freedom. There's a relief of stress. You will feel your freedom and you regaining your life and control of your life instantly. Hitting it down there at the last link on the chain, the last one that they put on there, you can tear it down. You can break that link off of the rest of the linkage. You can go ahead and do it. But as long as you leave that top linkage up there, that number one that started that whole link, you honestly ain't done shit. You still left the problem up there. You still are going to be trapped. You still are going to be trapped. You done took a little stress off of you. That's fine. But you ain't cleared all of it up. It's not going to happen. So until, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, R. Kelly breaks the first link that established this whole chain of links, in my opinion, it's going to always have that stress in some of those problems. I know we don't like to open up a can of worms. You never know which worm is going to slither off to continue up the chains, you know, to continue up these links on these chains. You never know. But you get nowhere if you're trying to just kill one. And I don't mean kill like literally, hypothetically kill. If you're not going to get them all, the problem is still going to exist. That's just my opinion. I do honestly believe that he's going to have to break that chain. Things are going to have to be told, or he's going to have to, which I know is a very, very difficult thing to do. So I'm just hypothetically speaking, in my opinion. Until that part is exposed and tore down, this position that's going on right now is a never ending until there's some actual dying off. I mean, really dying off. I'm talking about grave dying off. It was something also mentioned in there that he doesn't talk about much. And that's the statement that Don Russell had made. And I think there's other people from other channels, because he wasn't the first one, that talked about this whole contract thing or whatever of the Jumo and whatever being paid, you know, $7 million. Don Russell said that, oh, you know, it's like hush money. I think people took that in the wrong direction. Sometimes we seriously have to be slow to speak and quick to listen, because he said the word hush. If you go back to Gayle King asking R. Kelly specifically about, I think it was Gayle King, what about Aaliyah, you know? What about Aaliyah? And several other interviews. What was R. Kelly's words? He said one word. He said, hush. What does hush exactly mean? I was asking myself, why does he have to hush about that? You know, hold your head up and tell the goddamn truth about that. I'm saying it to myself, R. Kelly, what the hell you mean hush? Yes, R. Kelly has to hush on something that is not true. Is it bondage? Is there actually a contract or something out there that really says that? You listen. We done already got $7 million out of you. You say one goddamn thing, it's going to be something even worse done. I'm just speaking hypothetically. Does anybody in these boxes out here know that to be true or to not be true? Have you talked to Ben? Have you what research have people done other than we just speculate and talk about it? Because a certificate of a marriage was put up just out of the blue and talked about for years. But I found that funny how Russell says it, but R. Kelly said it too. He said, hush. Every time they ask him, says hush. And if he says hush, and now I'm asking myself, well, what type of entrapment are you in? Who is doing this to you? Who's extorting? What's going on? You know? I'm getting ready to go. But I just wanted you guys to know that I find it funny that all of a sudden, after all of this information been dropping out here, he now knows who the BOPA officer is. Says that they go by the name of Alan Spratton. Now, Alan Spratton to me sounds like a male name, and I could have sworn that they said that it was a female name. It was a female, sorry, it was a female. Doesn't Alan Spratton sounds like a guy name to you guys? Now, I guess he knows that it's a guy. I don't know. But I could have sworn they were saying that it was a female. Maybe I could be wrong. It's just the fact that he took the time out to tell the box, the community box, telling this name right after Jennifer Bonjean drops her briefing, or after Jennifer Bonjean had done already had the motion and they spoke on the BOP stuff at the courts. Now, how lucky would Jennifer Bonjean would have been had she known in time that it was Alan Spratton coming from Bookham breaking the goddamn case of the BOPA officer. Boy, if he'd just been a timely person, I'm sure they'd have inserted that name. Unfortunately, another ineffective blogger counselor, untimely son of a gun. You say sounds like I'm just saying, Claudia. He's just so untimely with all of his accurate information. He just always untimely with his thorough research. I can't. Can the nigga make it on time for something to be put in the paperwork to work for R. Kelly one day? I'm just saying, can it make it on time one day? Don't he make it on time in church? I'm surely with the research and the evidence that he is finding, that he can make it on time so that Bonjean can have it as a part of her write-ups. But unfortunately, there was nothing spoken of coming from his attorneys or not even R. Kelly about a goddamn Alan Spratton. Even though we know, as R. Kelly stated, there's only so much that he can say, and he put it out here for quite a few people to try to figure it out and do the job, you know, whether if it was for him or for yourself, right? Here we are a month later, and he has the answer. He broke in the case. The question is now, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Instead of moving forward with a bunch of BS tomorrow, maybe he can get that person down to whatever it has to go and see if there will going to be an indictment on Alan Spratt. That's all. Now, one more thing, Potty, before I go. Everybody was yelling about the intellectual property. Take it back. Give it back. You stole this. You stole that. Talking about the masters. And tonight I heard Booker mention about they don't put it on this portal. It comes on the floppy disk. Now he knows what it's on. Okay. Let's just say that it is. But let's just keep in mind that we're talking about R. Kelly masters. When R. Kelly got indicted and was placed in jail, I believe that it stated that he was at 39 and a half years of owning his masters. But if R. Kelly been locked up since 2019, and had he completed his 40 years, which R. Kelly told you, it's in the I Admit song. Yes, I have to be slow to speak and quick to listen. Allegedly, it may be some truth that R. Kelly never fulfilled his contract. Okay. And once you don't fulfill a contract, 9 times out of 10, you'll become in default of it, void it out. You owe what you owe. Just like buying a home. You don't pay the mortgage. Your home goes into foreclosure. You owe what you owe. Okay, you gotta pay the bank back. Now, unless somebody's gonna pull a rabbit out of their ass, maybe it'll be Book to show you that R. Kelly did not meet his 40 years to own his masters. That would mean that Sony now owns everything, just like who? The artists that you guys know about out here, right? So it doesn't, that's if he met his 40-year contractual obligation. We all know that he was unable to do so, allegedly. Because with him having that a year or half a year or so left, he was already gone. How was he going to do it? Let alone he had an entertainment attorney. I know, right, Claudia? He had an entertainment attorney. They said at once upon a time that it was a Doug Anton. Doug Anton was aware at that time when he was on the roles of being R. Kelly's attorney. Now, I don't know, because I don't know that business, but it would make more sense to me if I would go in with my opinion with common sense, and a person got hired for me and was on the docket as my attorney, entertaining attorney. We know that Sony is part of entertainment music, or entertainment period, movies, everything, right? So somewhere, to me, there should have been earlier on negotiations, table talk with this production company is Sony. You know his situation. You got to go up there. You got to fight hard. You got to debate. You got to do this. You got to see if you can get the contracts, some amendments done to them because of our client situation, meaning protecting R. Kelly assets, which would have been his music, right? Which would have been his entitlement to of his masters. Was that done? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that he was at his 39-year mark, and I believe Mr. Kelly spoke on that. Didn't he say he don't own his shit? Now, mind you, because I'm going to throw this at you, to Don Russell, because everybody says, give it back, give it back, give it back, right? And then you heard Don Russell come on and talk about, oh, they broke into the truck, and then there's the assumption of whether if it was Don Russell private computers or this proto, whatever they call it, the protos or the IBM, or it's a whole bunch, you know, all that language, right? Those acronyms and shit, right? And then Bookham sits over there today, and he brought up the part about, oh, what Don Russell says that it was Angelo and his son or whatever that broke into the van and stole some things. Hi, Charlie. Hi. That's what he says. Broke in there, stole some things. Where Bookham found that to be a lie, right? And then Don Russell comes back out, I think at one point, and says that, you know, because of so many people that was after him, because he was breaking this whole case about who was after and on R. Kelly heels, right? And then he started to break the list down too, right? The Cheryl Max all the way down. Everybody was, yes, you know, wow, you know, because technically the community box, we didn't know. I don't know these damn people. We just out here sponging up some information. Maybe Bookham can go now. I know, right, Lady Earth, because I wasn't sleepy. I'm finna go to bed. Can now actually tell the people if R. Kelly actually owned all of his things. Why, yeah. You know, if Don Russell has been out here speaking heavenly about having intellectual property, I'm pretty sure that it was heard by certain, you know, attorneys or whoever, community box people, that they done wrote it all up and shipped it over there. And Don Russell got to stop. Don Russell got to stop. Don Russell got to stop. I'm not sure what the contract says, Claudine. None of us are sure what the actual contract, what the actual years or whatever is dated for R. Kelly. You know, that may be the time, you know, the 30 years for every artist or whatever to do so. But what if there's an amended contract or so, or an extension or something that was put on? So we don't know. It's hard to say. 30 years is the goal. So I'm just saying, if, you know, Sony was to own all of the stuff, and you got a person out here screaming that he had some of the stuff, I'm willing to bet you that they didn't hunt him down to get what belonged to them some kind of way. I'm willing to bet you. But that's soon to be, you know, found out, because there is an end to this road. And the ending of this road is to wait for the day that R. Kelly can actually tell his story. Because basically, no matter what anybody says out here in these streets, and how they act upon what is being said, or or you want to rebuttal on it, or you want to be a third party clarifier or a validator on what people are saying. The only truth that you normally would absolutely believe comes from the horse's mouth, not the naysayers, not the people that sits around in a circle. And that's what I tend to wait on. No matter how much I like to sit out here and do my opinions or this or this or that, I'm waiting on that day. And I pray that Mr. Kelly lives long enough, stays strong enough to endure this journey, this unexpected journey that he is going through. And I'm waiting on his story, because that is who I came to support. I'm not a fan of third-party tellers. I'm not, especially when you're not the one that's in trouble. You're not the one that's fighting the battle. Don't get me wrong. It's good to hear some of the stories that people actually, have great stories to share with you that's been around him. You know what I mean? It's okay to hear some of those. I like to hear stories that, we traveled on a bus and we was headed to whatever concert or whatever. We stopped off and we sat in a restaurant and boy, we laughed all the time. See, those are people that didn't care to pay attention to what Mr. Kelly was doing in his personal life or even share you even things like that. I can listen to those all day, because whatever he done in his personal life had absolutely nothing to do with none of us, basically. Yes, it opened it up for people to pass judgment. I get that, because that's what, I guess people do. But would I ever put my right foot in front of my left and walk behind and truly believe the person that becomes a second and a third and a fourth party about somebody else's life? Hell no. Ain't gonna happen. They talk that stuff and make it sound really, really good, but unfortunately, no. You can put all of the pictures up that you want to, when in reality, all of the pictures are pretty much all the same. Standing in the rear, about a half a foot, smiling. The picture is no different than the one in the Will Smith. Same stance, same distance, same smile. The pictures in the one with R. Kelly with the same coat on as the picture that he took with Sylvia and her daughter. Same distance, same smile, same stance. The picture with him behind Cannick, same distance, same smile, same stance. Need I go on? Need I go on? The only video that I think I have not revisited that I would love to revisit, but I got to go find it. I don't know if it's on the presidency page of Shabazz or whatever, but I would like to see the interview that Shabazz did with the YouTube community strangers of R. Kelly's life. I want to see that one again. So if y'all have that, if somebody have that, or can y'all just email me and tell me what it looked, but I'm going to check on I think it's the interview, with the girl and the Jasmine girl. I want to see that again. I haven't seen that one in a long time. So that's all, but either way it goes though, Claudine, if it's 30 or if it's 39, you know. Um, and Mr. Kelly did not meet his date on the contract. There's no entertainment lawyer in place to have kept dealing with that situation, all because his entertainment lawyer came out here and allegedly got involved with people who needed validation on a king for the dollar and the fund for defense. They got involved with that for some apparent reason. And what was it, a year or so later, then he's off the paper. He's off the roll. He's off the roll. Yeah. 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 Crazy. So at this point, I just take it as, oh, story times. Hi, Unique. Nothing but story times. Because at the end of the day, riding 10 toes deep and dying for a person and all that stuff. Sometimes you just gotta shut up and go telling your boys a whole bunch of information and all that stuff about your boys. He's been on that man's neck like forever, you know. I'm gonna watch the part two, you know, and everybody else watches it too because the people been coming out with their opinions on it. So, but what can you do about that? At the end of the day, Don Russell will be turning himself in. He's got to go serve his time. You know, Bookham told you that, you know, it's because of him that he is locked up, when in fact it's because of a lot of people. It's because a lot of people, not just one. New York just didn't make up of Donnell Russell. Had Donnell Russell gotten the charge for this alleged gun threat, which allegedly postponed the filming of that production up there, how would we be looking at this, right? Even though they still ended up going through with the production. I'm gonna take y'all here on this, right? But now, when you read or you listen to Jennifer Bonjean's briefing, and it included, I don't know which one she was in the context off the top of my head, Faith Rogers, right? It included Faith Rogers too. Now, mind you, Jennifer Bonjean is debunking Faith Rogers' accusations about this herpes situation, right? But if Jennifer Bonjean is debunking Faith Rogers' accusations about that and other detailing information that she presented it through the prosecution on the stand, then how is it not fair to say that at least Donnell Russell opened up that door? He opened up that door. He's the one that got the charges for these pictures or for the threat and this and dealing with Faith Rogers' mom. But everybody in the community box had their field day with saying like, we got you. Y'all liars, y'all liars, y'all liars. Okay. Well, Is it not fair? Or are we not balancing this out that maybe Faith Rogers, since everyone is on board with debunking her allegations, you think that it's still fair that she should actually have this lawsuit uh, um, against, Don Russell or R. Kelly? Doesn't make sense to me. And I know people don't want to cheer him on because of that or whatever, but he did open that door up to allow conversations or situations and things to be heard in the courtroom, where now Jennifer Bongine is on the road of debunking all that shit. That's not true. She's not known to be a truthful person. I know it's a different situation, and I get that. He also opened up this whole door now, which is the video is being played over and over with, Bookham and everybody, with the savages. It did. Had we not heard that phone call, that story probably wouldn't have stretched as far as it did. And the only reason why now that it's blowing up like the way it is because all of a sudden now some text messages magically appeared out here online. But that's just us. We pick and choose where we want to fight, who we want to fight. And I understand, I totally understand the whole thing, but it's just weird. It's weird. There's a part in the video that clearly says, you can go on and make your millions, talking about TMZ. A lot of people took that as if, he's in on one with them. I took it as, go do what you gotta do so you get the hell away from around and building this whole situation of this dialogue on this man. That's how I had taken it. But we all perceive things very differently sometimes. I don't know. But that's just me. That's just me. You say you wouldn't be surprised, but so I don't know. Somebody needs to find out if R. Kelly contract is now closed, with Sony owning pretty much everything, every song. Yeah. Somebody needs to find out if it's true, if certain music was stolen, if it was stolen from brothers, or what happened to it? What do they do with it? Or are they just keeping it to themselves? Did they drop something? Did they edit it? Did they pass it on? Is somebody else playing it and we just not recognizing it? I don't know. I'm just saying. This shit is like Whirlpool, y'all. Whirlpool. What is it, 12:37? Thank y'all for hanging out while I'm talking. I got my ass beat up about a damn dog. It's gonna be all right. Freaking dog. And that shit still tickles me, y'all. Cause I was just joking around. I seriously was just joking around. I ain't know I was finna go to war. Like, dang, so uptight people, ain't got no commentary anyway. I can't even recall when the last time, like, she was screaming and hooping and hollering on the channel. She and everybody else channels died. Not that and I don't go look. You got 138? Yes, 1238 over here. I don't know. I just felt like sitting up with you guys for a hot minute with all my hypothetical analogies on this whole thing, and to just ask you guys, how do you all feel about learning the name of this alligator person that goes by the name of an Alan Spratton? How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about it? And I mean, whoever it was, he done dug deep into the information, reading the jobs, reading where they're from, reading what they did, the whole career thing down, and made it his commentary. I was like, what? I mean, he done pull everything. And he's just sitting there comfortably reading it. Now, let me throw this in here too. If he's comfortably reading everything about this alleged BOPA officer that goes by the name of Alan Spratton, right? He's reading all of this stuff online, right? Her whole, or him, because I don't know if it's a man or a woman, right? Talking about Bookham, Queen. He knows the name now of the BOP officer by listening to Donnell Russell very carefully and connecting the dots. Yeah, he connected all the dots together now, and he knows that, you know, after listening back at, he don't come to this channel. Nobody comes to this channel. I'm just telling you what it said, because I wrote it down, and I have. Since the BOPA officer goes by the name of Alan Spratton. Sounds like a man name to me. I don't know. Said from Milwaukee, girl. I thought the information put out here was a female. I think I even heard, you know, R. Kelly says that, well, all I know that is, you know, it's a lady. He couldn't speak on it much more. Right? But my point is, somehow he's figured out the name by doing a thorough investigation of listening to Donnell Russell replay of Choke No Joke with Donnell Russell, right? You say you are? I was like, huh? You mean to tell me that all of a sudden, with your untimely ass, you done found a name? Well, either way it go, Queen, I'm just like, oh, you would think that in Jennifer Bonjean's write-up, right, on her affidavit, when they was in the court and they were discussing the BOPA, you mean to tell me that he can get a BOPA officer name and Jennifer Bonjean didn't put an insertion of a BOPA officer name, that you think that attorney could not get? Huh? Do you know that she could have blew that information up in the court saying, well, we would like to summons this person into this courtroom because we have actions for her. Well, now they can't do it, Queen, because he found out who it is, and it's untimely. Or if they can do it, and Jennifer Bonjean didn't know who this person was because they would not give her the information. R. Kelly don't know who this person is because he's limited to what he can say and act and do. Bookham now has the answer. So, Queen, don't you expect for a motion to be put in at least by the end of the week? The Bookham could call Bonjean right now and say, hey, I figured out who it is. Let's motion this person into court. We're going to bring her in and summons her into court. I'm just saying, Queen, I'm just saying. I was like, Lord. And then top it off, he got the person's information all up on his page, right? She does this, she's from there, she works here, she does this, she's X, Y, and Z. Now, mind you, let's just role play for a minute. They done brought DOPAN, Alan Spratt. They done brought him in or her in, right? Now she's being cross-examined. Okay? She's being cross-examined by her own attorney. He's going to ask her, were you aware that all of your information, private or not, was placed on a blogger's page? In other words, how do you feel about your privacy and do you feel, X, Y, Z, right? This nigga to put all her shit up, right? How do you know that she's not going to file back some type of charges or whatever of how she felt with her personal stuff being released? How do you? I'm sorry, Queen. Had this, or if it been a client of mine, I'm definitely going to get her off. I'm letting you know that now. But for some apparent reason, which allegedly I truly believe that, of course, he didn't grab Alan Spratton, number 536 out there in the Google world. There's probably about 900 of them. He just picked one that just so happened to have a state written by her name that says Wisconsin. Dug it up, put it up on his computer, right? I'm pretty sure. As a matter of fact, let me Google see how many Alan Sprattons are in the state of Wisconsin. Hold on. Let's figure this out. Let's get it up. Oh, you said that's the live that was struck and down and blocked. What? He just did that live though. You say like A.R. Rich is that boy and the dude is in the D. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. He said Erline and DJ and Don Russell is the plot team. He left it. Somehow he managed to leave the whole Cash Jones up out. He managed to leave Cash Jones out of that. And I don't know how. And I don't know why, but he did. Oh, no shit. I'm the last one he just did. I was just listening to that. I was just listening to that. And you mean it's gone? That sucks. I wonder who wanted it down, who took it down. Mm. Maybe he was thinking about the Michigan State Spartans, Wisconsin Badgers. I don't know. I don't feel like looking for it. Oh, it don't refresh, huh? I was like literally listening to it before I had logged on. So that's what made me logged on, because I just had some questions about it. That's all. Well, like I said, if he had to sit there and put someone soon to be client information blasted all over the screen or whatever. It's like, well, you violated that person law. See, sometimes you can't do because you think that you feel like it's the right thing to do, because what you done is open up an avenue for that person now to fight their case based off of your actions. Was that right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I was sitting there like, boy, look at Goofy. Well, she ain't gonna stay in jail long. That's all she got to do now is file how her rights was taken from me. She gonna file, she don't feel for her safety. You gotta where she live, what she wearing, what she eating, what school she went to, when she graduated, how much. I'm like, boy, if you really listen, you messing it up. Now, it's one thing to say allegedly, like this is the person of so-and-so. And you done took law into your own hand and went above and beyond. You like, what? Yeah. So I don't know. Some people don't, a lot of people don't think when you're trying to help, you can actually do more damage than you can helping. So some things are just off limits. You just can't do it. I want to send my prayers out, to the Dadville shooting down there. They're going to charge the 16 and 17-year-olds as adults. Populated town of 3,000, Sweet 16 party. It's like, wow, this is crazy. To turn around, turn back on the news. And that's why I just limit myself with news. Where a young fella went to go and pick up his twin brothers. 84-year-old white man decided he feared for his life. Shot the boy in the head. That's kind of crazy, right? And that's the story that he's claiming, and he's sticking to it. He feared for his life. So by you feeling for your life, and there's another Black person involved in the situation right now, the media has no choice but to introduce this as racially profiled. Racially profile this young boy at the age of 16 because he felt like the boy was about trying to get in and rob him. So that's what his self-defense is. This is definitely going to be another interesting case on deck to decide whether if this is dealing with racism, and how far will they let it go, or if they not let it go at all. Yeah. Oh no, the video contains content from Complex Network. I wonder who shit he stole and who has blocked it on. Oh shit. Okay, so he showed Choke No Joke, and I know Choke No Joke gave me permission one time to use it, but I think I just wasn't ready to use it because he was like, yeah, you could go ahead and use the video. And it was the same video. He had gave me permission, but I think I got caught up doing something else, so I never got around to it. And then to my surprise, because I had emailed him, I found his email, which is on his page or whatever, and he had responded back like really fast and was very nice. It was like, sure, I introduced myself to him and everything. And I said, well, I do this or whatever. And he had asked me, well, how much of it he asked me if I knew the time stamps, and I gave that to him or whatever. And I told him, I'm not going to go past this. I just wanted to discuss and opinionate on this one part. And he granted me permission. He was like, yes, you can use it. I was like, damn, that was pretty easy. So I guess all you have to do is kind of just, ask, and if they say yeah, they say yeah. If they say no, they say no. Then you just have to switch it up and do it a little bit differently, which is just, talk about it. You can't show it. You can't put it up. You can't play it. They don't want you to. So that's really how, I'm like, okay, I learned this game here now. So I don't have to write so much. I just play it in my ear. You can't hear it. So now I can pause it or whatever in my ear, repeat to y'all what was said or whatever, and then give my opinion on it, but oh well, too bad for him, because that's the video he played, joke no joke. Then he played what was the other video? Play something else. I know one intro he ain't playing. If this ain't about Cousin Levi, Data J, and Prima Donna, you ain't heard it from him. Hey Queen, he ain't opening up with that no more. He's steady coming. Okay, I can't lose my note because I'm gonna need this note for a future date. So I'm gonna have to leave it right here and put it on my clipboard because I need that. But I'm just saying, you'll hear that shit no more, right? Oh, maybe it was the Nick at Night, I don't know. I don't know. I reached out to her too, but I understand, like, she's so busy. And when she said what she said, she'd be done with it or whatever. But the video that she has with Angelo and Drunken Larry on it, that shit is epic, girl. I be listening to it all the time, like that shit epic, how she exposed them for coming after her and everything, right? And it's crazy because you had a female expose the stuff that they were doing. She literally exposed how Drunken Larry was allegedly like Angelo's hoe. But then Drunken Larry comes out to say how Bookham was his hoe. It just the triggering effect for me is what be funny, girl. I'd be like, this stuff is funny, but she had them come back and start apologizing to her, then they finally left her alone. But if you have a female that clearly tells you what two guys were capable of doing and have done, right? And you go over to the COVID side and you clearly see a whole bunch of females, right, that has been informed about what has happened to her from two males, right? Not just the two males, right? She even had the Jonathan Savage coming after her and Timothy Savage. She broke that shit down. But yet then they chose to not separate from that negativity, right? They chose not to do so. Get some pom-poms for the guy that was also exposed from doing unhealthy, negative stuff because he chose to involve himself in the situation with another man to become so envy of another man and to capitalize off of it. And all the females was okay. They was okay with that shit. When I heard Nick at Night, that was enough for me to say, oh, hell no. Like I can't do you and I can't do you. Y'all gonna have to go on and fight this battle by yourself. You ain't never finna catch me at Party City picking up no pom-poms. Because I hate Queen, I'm supposed to now jump on the bandwagon with Claudine because Claudine don't like such and such and cheer Claudine on. Are you kidding me? Separating from both. I gotta be done with this here. It's you say a lot of them early bloggers, they walked away and yeah, that's true. That's facts. She talked about how, in her thing, how they even went after, what's her name? Daytime, Tea Time. They was on her butt too. The Savages was and some of, and girl, I was like, oh my God. But Nick at Night said something on that particular live that she already knew that it was something that they were hiding. She kept saying that in that live. She said it's something deeper than this and they're hiding it, but because of what they doing and how reckless that they were out here in the social media world, that it's going to come to light. And she bet a buck on it. She's like, I'm telling you, they hiding something deep. They hide it. And sure enough, it ended up being some, these goddamn text messages. Go figure that shit. Go figure that shit. I was like, damn, Nate, you on that shit. But she kept saying it, nah, it's something else. It's something else that is causing these people to react and say the things that they're saying. They're holding, they're hiding, they're doing something. Now everybody's out here reading a whole bunch of text messages that, it's shocking. Which y'all believe I'm on, I think I'm on 139. I'm almost getting there. I'm on the part where they going back and forth about the missing the flights. Can't get you one till this late at night. I'm on the mama freaking out because the girl that missed 5 days of school or some shit. So I'm getting there. It's like a multitasking, y'all. I'm all over the place. So I'm gonna go. I think everybody has fallen asleep. Thanks for chatting with me, Queen. I just wanted to drop that he done figured out who the BOP 8 officer is, and attorney Jennifer Bonjean could not figure it out. Nope, but he did. R. Kelly got the wrong attorney. She need to hire Booker. He figures out everything. He knows everybody. So, yeah, well, there's going to be more to come. But until then, I thank you. I thank you for coming over and chatting with me, because I'm on my other channel. So this the Lay Low channel. And this channel is only at 861 subscribers. Jesus Christ, I should be at 1,000 over here on this channel, but I'm not. So it's all good. We'll keep this one as the Lay Low backup channel. So yeah, that's what we'll do. I remember my first channel that I started, I think Keandre. Yeah, and I never kept it going on that, because I told y'all that I was gonna go on a YouTube journey with Kiwan and Keandre, and I think it's called ONEPAPOOSE, I think, something like that. Oh, you say that's Claudine. It's just the people in the box, that GA girl, she off the hizzle, honey. I can't wait until he go and put his thing on her back. Something is missing. Girl. I'm like, is this girl? Oh, I knew it then. How you knew it then? You don't even know these people. How could you say such things? How could you agree to such things because a person is saying it when you don't know? Like, when you want to know the people, at least before you listen to the person that is telling you the story about some people that you don't know. Oh, you got them all blocked, girl. I can't block them. I be needing some laughter. I be like, no, girl. But whatever is said, she's agreeing with it. I have not yet seen that girl challenge one thing that boy has said in these 3.5, 4 years out here. Not one. It's got to be at least one thing to challenge. At least one. Ain't you gonna say, hold up, nigga? It's like whatever it is that she researching and he researching, it just all match up together. I guess they on the same Google search or something. I don't know. But there's no possibly way that someone can say something for the entirely 4 years or whatever, and you are always in an agreement with it. An agreement. Do you know that growing up with your mom or your dad, you can't even count the times of how many times you were not in an agreement with what your own mom and dad had said. But in this box, baby, they be lined up. You're right. And they believe you. I believe you. I seen 3 guys. I'm gonna name one in particular, right? Just because I don't care. That darn EJ, he said he know. I know. He said he know for sure that the Don Russell is alive. Now, if Don Russell ever get asked a question like, do you know the EJ guy, y'all ever met or whatever, he's been around, he's probably gonna say no. And if he says no, now how we know who's telling the truth? We won't even know. But I think he just likes to, say what I don't know, say what he wants to say as well. All right, y'all. Y'all go and do what you do. If you're going to bed, have a good rest. If you're going to another live, have a good show and all of that good old stuff. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to go to bed and I will see you guys soon, unless y'all know how I do. I just pop on. No set dates right now. So have a good night, y'all.